What's up everybody? In this video we're going to be talking about Sony's new 24-105 f4G OSS. Very mixed feelings about this one. So I've owned the 24-105 from Canon, the f4L IS-USM, for ages. This was my third lens I ever bought after the 50 f1.8 II. So I'm very familiar with this focal range. I'm very familiar with these focal lengths, how to use this type of lens, and really the Sony is just probably a much better optically version of this lens. This lens, ironically enough, being better than the Mark II version for things like sharpness, but worse for distortion. So I think that the 24-105 from Sony, probably fantastic optically, low distortion, low vignetting, very high sharpness. That's become very standard on their G lenses. But the reason why I have mixed feelings about the 24-105 focal range is not the characteristics of the lens, right? It's not how sharp it is, it's not how much distortion is there, it's not vignetting, it's not build quality, it's the focal range itself. This was my third lens ever. I had the kit lens, I had the 50, I had this. And buying this lens was probably the single smartest thing I could have done at the time, because at the time I was shooting on a Rebel XS, and really that took my images to the next level in a way that no other lens at the price point that I got this at $600 or $650 could have done. And it really made the 10 megapixel sensor on the XS really stand out. It really made those images worthwhile. On my 6D, it's still a fantastic option. This camera and lens combo is one of the biggest contributors to all of the images that I've put on the wall. But the problem with this focal range is that it kept me from being able to get into other lenses that I wanted to. I felt like I very quickly matured with my photography to the point where I was like, you know what, I'd rather have f2.8, you know what, I'd rather have a fast prime, I'd rather have lenses within this focal range, but I couldn't justify it because I had this one lens that could do everything. And on a Sony body, that 24-105 can do even more, right? If you have an A7 II or an A7R II or an A7R III now, since that's come out, you can use crop mode and turn it into a 36-150. So there's no real need to ever buy another lens apart from looking for a fast aperture, right? I love fast apertures. I don't feel like I need stabilization frequently. So this lens and that lens, I don't really love, right? The problem is that it's too useful. When you buy it, you're saying, okay, this is the one lens that I'll ever need, and it is. That's the whole problem. It is the only lens that you'll ever need, which is also a huge upside, right? This is the mixed feelings part. This is one of my favorite lenses ever, the Canon 85 f1.8. One of my other favorite lenses is actually the 50 f1.8 STM. And I love my 70-200 f4L IS-USM. But the thing was, it took me probably 6 years to buy another lens after this because I couldn't justify it. I wasn't being paid for enough images that I was making. I wasn't taking enough images. Even though I wanted better image quality and better lenses, I couldn't justify it. And so if there are people out there that are saying, you know what, I'll get into an A7 II and a 24-105, that'll do everything for me. As soon as you want to get into something else, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I just spent $1,300 on the one lens to rule them all. And now I'm realizing that in order to help my skill keep improving, in order to make my images more marketable, in order to take more stunning images visually, I'm going to have to buy another lens that unfortunately falls within this focal range. And it'll be very hard to justify if you're not getting paid for images, if you're not getting paid for your time as a photographer. That being said, it's also probably the single best focal range for travel. You know, you can go, Sony's even done this before. Sony Zeiss has already done this with the 16-70 for their APS-C models. That's the 24-105 equivalent. It's a fantastic range. It is a do everything range, and I think that with the G lens styling very much in the vein of the design philosophy of Sony's full-frame mirrorless interchangeable lens cameras, it makes a lot of sense. But I still just can't get over, like, if I had the cash money, right, to go out and buy an A7 II and a 24-105 tomorrow, and I did, assuming that I did, it would probably be another 2 or 3 years before I was willing to say, you know what, I need a new lens. And I really don't like that. I really want to say instead I'm going to get the 55 because I shoot a 50 the most, and then, you know, in a couple of months once I've saved up a little bit, I'll pick up the 85, and then in a couple months once I've saved up a little bit, I'll get the 28. So by getting a 24-105, you're saying I don't need any more lenses. This will be the one lens. Or it's a great travel option. And so that I could totally see myself picking up a 24-105 down the line for Sony when I have the opportunity to get into Sony full frame, just so that I can shoot all Sony all the time, and then maybe get some Sigma contemporary primes for my Alpha 6000, Alpha 6300, because then I can have both fast primes, which I love, and an incredibly versatile zoom, which you'll need for travel. So, you know, the problem with the 24-105 f4G OSS is that it is going to be the most versatile zoom range, very high quality, will probably work for you forever, and it will be very hard to justify getting into other things, getting into other lenses in particular. So if those all don't strike you as downsides like they do me, I think you'll absolutely love Sony's 24-105 f4G OSS lens. I think it will be a workhorse, always out of the stable, on the camera body, doing really good work for you. And like I've been saying this whole time, the most versatile zoom range, retaining a whole bunch of optical quality, unlike super zooms. So it's up to you now. Thank you very much for your time and for your attention. Please do not hesitate to smash that like button or check out my Amazon affiliate links. If you buy anything through those, there will be a small kickback fee, but it will not at all impact the price. I'd really appreciate it if you would check those out. And yeah, thank you again for your time and for your attention. I'll see you in the next one.